It's the biggest show of Impact Wrestling's year from Las Vegas, Nevada, their first time out of Nashville, Tennessee since the pandemic. Huge matches. The Impact World title is on the line with an AEW star defending against one of the Impact stalwarts. All of the 5 titles are on the line, plus a new title, a Hall of Famer, and some surprises in store. This is Sportskeeda Wrestling's Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory 2021 preview. Let's get to it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! Yes, we are live on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory 2021 preview and predictions. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3, and I am with one of my favorite people in all of wrestling media, and someone I'm very proud to say is a dear friend. Not only can you see us talking about wrestling, we talk about basketball, we talk about the challenge. He is the distraction point god, one of the hardest working men in wrestling media today, Jeremy Lambert of Fightful Wrestling. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks, buddy. I'm well. How you doing? Last time I saw you was a couple days ago. We were talking basketball. Now we're here talking about Impact Bound for Glory. Let's go. I got my coffee, Taylor Swift mug. Getting ready for the day. It's already 11 o'clock, but it's gonna be a long day. I feel like SP3.
It's always a long day for me. I got 2 1-year-olds. They get me up at 5 a.m. in the morning. So this is like midday for me. I was just over on the Wrestle Talk podcast channel with Luke Owen reviewing WWE Crown Jewel 2021, or as I like to call it, Sweet Saudi Money 6. So I am very happy to be previewing a show that I am going to enjoy to either talk about, preview, and review. So we are here to talk about Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory 2021. Let us know in the live chat, if you're with us, your predictions for this card. It's a 8-match card. Plus, there's going to be some surprises, a Hall of Fame induction, which we will all get into. And of course, drop a like on this video, share this video with your friends, push the subscribe button to the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel. You can check out my preview of Crown Jewel with Kenny Bolin. They also did a review of Crown Jewel yesterday after the show, as well as trivia championship was on the line with Rick Ucchino defending against Jose Gonzalez because Rick is ducking me. He don't want none of the smoke because I'm the uncrowned trivia champion of Sportskeeda Wrestling. Just want to mention that. But Jeremy, let's talk about Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory. How excited are you for the big show this Saturday?
I'm fairly excited. I think one thing that hurts my excitement is it's at 10 o'clock at night. And so I'm like, oh man, I don't want to stay up and watch this show. And then I'm doing the review show afterwards. So I know I'm going to be up until 3 a.m. covering all of this show. It'll take me back to when I used to cover the UFC post shows for Fightful. Yeah, so that hurts my excitement a little bit. As far as the actual card and everything, I'm fairly excited for it. I like the main event. I like all the title matches. At least the top 3 title matches are really good. So it should be a good show. I'm expecting some surprises as well. It should be good.
Yes, and we're going to definitely get into the surprises as we talk about this show. We're going to talk about the pre-show as well as the main show. But I'm just going to go right to it because we already got a super chat donation from Vala B here saying, don't you mean Braun for Glory? And there's a lot of different names that have been dropped that could be debuting as a surprise on this show. We got Braun for Glory here. Braun Strowman, the now Adam Titan Shera is being supposedly rumored to be here, as well as the former Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda. Who is the number one surprise you think we're going to see in Las Vegas Saturday night at Bound for Glory?
I think Braun is a 99% lock to be on this show. I would be surprised if he doesn't show up at this point. And it's not on Impact. If he doesn't show up, it's not on him. If he doesn't show up, we've created these own expectations for ourselves. They've not even Scott D'Amore drunkenly at a baseball game said Braun for Glory, and people are like, well, there you go. He's coming in. They ran this as fact and everything. Otherwise, there hasn't been it wasn't like a CM Punk type thing where like, yeah, he's coming. Like we know he's coming. They've not hinted around that at all. It's just people are speculating heavily, and I think it'll happen though, and I would be surprised if it doesn't happen. If it doesn't happen, then again, it's our own expectations and it's not on them. But I think it's happening. Joseph is very, very adamant that Bud Matt is coming in, but he's been adamant about this for about 5 months now. So
I've seen Joseph say he's coming to AEW, he's coming to Impact Wrestling. He wants Bud Matt everywhere.
Joseph literally, he'll get your hopes up about this Bud Matt being everywhere. I thought he was going to be on AEW like 3 weeks ago or like a month ago, just showing up like he never did and everything. Yeah, he's adamant that Bud Matt's going to be everywhere. It would be cool if he's there. I think Impact's a good fit for him, but Braun is the one that like I'm almost locking in for this show.
I'm going to blame Joseph for making me believe that Bud Matt was going to be the Joker in the casino battle, the casino ladder match. I should have known it was going to be Hangman, but I think I saw so many Joseph tweets saying Bud Matt that I was like, it's got to be Buddy Matthews, right?
I didn't think he was going to be in that. I thought he was definitely going to be involved in the Matt Hardy storyline with Orange Cassidy, because that just seemed like they were going around in circles with that whole thing. I thought he was going to be involved somewhere on one of the, or Malachi and Cody. I thought there was going to be something with that. I mean, hey, they're fighting again on Saturday. Maybe that's where he shows up. But yeah, I feel like Bud Matt, he's coming to New Japan. Like we know he's coming to New Japan. So yeah, I thought he's been showing up everywhere the past month or two, thanks to Joseph.
But I'm going to go with Wyndham Rotunda, although it does happen. This show is going to happen about 6 days before his official non-compete clause is up. I think he might just say he doesn't want to get paid for 6 days, that he wants to show up early. It's a big surprise. And I would honestly, I've said this on a couple of different places and I'll say it here. I think that the best thing that Impact could do to make the biggest, buzz to their company is have Wyndham Rotunda, Adam Titan Shera, and Eric Redbeard come into the promotion together as Brody's Boys or the Cult of Wyndham, whatever they want to be called, the former Wyatt family members, the remaining members coming in together and going roughshod on the entire company. I think that's a big statement for Impact if they did it that way.
I think it would be a huge statement. I think Bray is going to ride out the 90 days. Like at this point, it's only a couple days before. Maybe you're right. Maybe he just like, forget it. Like let me out 6 days early. And I mean, they were accommodating with Chelsea Green on that to let her off of the non-compete like a week or so early so she could show up in ROH. So maybe they would do that for him. I think Impact is the best fit for him for sure. I think that's where he should end up if he's going to go anywhere. I don't know if it's this show though. It'd be great if it was. It'd be a big surprise because it feels like they need some type of juice coming out of this show. I like no knock on what they've put together. It's a good card. I think the time slot really hurts with the overall hype of it. And no offense to Christian Cage, like I think him being the champion instead of Omega kind of hurts a little bit too, because look, I love Christian. I'll go to the death saying he's better than Edge and he should have been pushed more over Edge, but he ain't Kenny Omega. He doesn't have the buzz that Kenny Omega has had this year, and that it is what it is with that. And so like I think they need something buzzy coming out of this show. Braun would be a big start for them. You had Bray on top of that, and you had Redbeard on top of that, like you mentioned. That would certainly be something because like they came out of Slammiversary, they had that buzzy moment, and it went nowhere with Jay White and Kenny Omega. So they need something buzzy where it's like it's sustainable and it's long term. And I think if Braun and Bray are coming in, that's a long term play. Where Jay White was just a one night pop, and then he did the TV tapings, and now he's gone.
Like it seems like that was all done for Chris Bay to join the Bullet Club. That's it. That's the long-term thing that came out of all of that. And you're absolutely right. Like that was such a great ending. It was unfortunate that I think Money in the Bank was like the next day, and that took up all their buzz with John Cena coming back and stuff. So I hope that they have something planned like you said, that is going to be beneficial for them long term. So that's why I want the Cult of Wyndham debuting. That would be a good touch. I can't really think of anything else, but I 100% agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more about Christian replacing Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega needed to be the champion going into the show, and he has the perfect challenger in Josh Alexander. We'll get our predictions on that match in a bit, but it really hurts this match that it's not Kenny Omega and that it's Christian instead. I love Christian as well. I'm one of the peeps. I was with him when he first went to TNA in 2005. I remember him beating Jeff Jarrett for the championship at Against All Odds 2000. I think it was 2006, and it's one of the best pops I've seen in anywhere. But it just doesn't feel the same right now.
No, it definitely doesn't. And again, that they should have had an Impact guy beat Omega for the title. It would have meant more if they could have transitioned from Omega to a guy who's actually with the company long term. And Christian is obviously an AEW guy, and so it does take the shine off of things. Should be a great match. I love Christian, love Josh Alexander, two just very good professional wrestlers. And I mean, Christian, when it comes to like match layout and stuff, Christian's one of the best. So I expect this to be a very good match. But yeah, Christian, he ain't Kenny Omega. I don't think that's mean to say or anything. You know, he's not Kenny Omega. It's not a knock on the guy. Like John Morant's not Steph Curry. John Morant's still very good. He's just not Steph Curry.
I love that. That was a nice callback to our basketball podcast. Check that out on the Distraction YouTube channel right now. But we should get into the matches and the moments that are going to happen on this show. On the pre-show, they have advertised two things. First up, they're going to be inducting their latest inductee into the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame, which is none other than Awesome Kong, one of the greatest knockout champions of all time. She was just involved in the Empower event for NWA where she announced her retirement, and now they're going to induct her into the Hall of Fame with Gail Kim appropriately being the person to induct her. What is your fondest memories of Awesome Kong?
I mean, it is like the Awesome Kong and Gail Kim feud. Like that was before Give Divas a Chance and all of this stuff. Like that was the kind of defining feud for women's wrestling. So yeah, it's great that Gail Kim is the one inducting her. Awesome Kong certainly deserves to go into the Impact Hall of Fame. She was like almost the original knockout for them. The moment at Empower was great. Listened to a lot of interviews with them where Gail saying she didn't know what it was. Awesome Kong thought like everyone knew, but it turns out no one knew. And so it was a completely different segment that she thought it was going to be. Yeah, it was. This is a good moment. This is going to be a very good moment. I assume we'll get some like video messages and stuff as well, but it's a good moment for Awesome Kong, and I'm happy to see her go into the Impact Hall of Fame.
Yes, very well deserving. One of the, I would say, Awesome Kong and Gail Kim. That's the bridge from, a lot of WWE fans want to remember Trish and Lita. And then if WWE tells the story, it's Trish and Lita. And then we had the Women's Revolution. It's like the 10 years in between didn't even count or matter. But the bridge to that was really Gail Kim and Awesome Kong. I talked about it with Dutch Mantel. He was responsible for bringing Awesome Kong over to Impact Wrestling and believing in the woman to draw, and they draw huge ratings in the main event. Dutch talks about it all the time. They drew better than Sting and Kurt Angle at a time. So I think if you haven't seen the Awesome Kong Gail Kim matches, go out of your way to watch it, and you would really understand why she's being inducted into the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame. Also on the pre-show, though, Jeremy, we're going to decide the newest title in Impact Wrestling, the Digital Media Championship, which is a new intergender type of title. It's going to be John Skyler versus Crazy Steve versus Jordan Grace versus Falaba versus Chelsea Green versus Tennille Dashwood. Who's going to become the first ever Digital Media Champion?
I think it's going to be Jordan. That's my pick on this. I think it's gonna be Jordan or Chelsea. I feel like it's gonna be a female. And a large part of my reasoning for that, and Chelsea would make sense, especially with the Cardona tie. I think a large part of that is like those three use social media fairly well. And so like they can kind of create a bigger buzz with this title than Crazy Steve, John Skyler, or Fallah Bahh. Like, no offense to those guys, I don't know what their buzz is on social media. Chelsea Green, she makes any type of comment and people are all over her. So, if she's out there just posing with the title and stuff, people are going to take notice of that. And Jordan is very active on social media as well. So I feel like it's going to be one of those two. I'm leaning towards Jordan. I don't know what to expect with this digital media championship. I don't know if it's going to work kind of like the 24/7 title, if they're just going to have like random matches and random places or whatever. But I think if you're going to call it the digital media championship, you need someone who has a strong digital media preference or presence, and Jordan and Chelsea, I think, are at the top of the list with that. So I'm gonna roll with Jordan. I would not be shocked if it is Chelsea though.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. One of those two ladies to be different. I'm gonna go with Chelsea Green only because we could see in GCW the internet champion and the digital media
There you
champion,
go.
the first
Exactly.
couple of deathmatch wrestling, Chelsea Green and Matt Cardona. That's just perfect. I think that just writes itself. So I think that I'll go with Chelsea Green to get the victory there. We got a question from Jeff Samuel saying, "Sup guys? Maybe someone from Japan like Will Ospreay for the Battle Royal, but he doesn't deserve to be in the Battle Royal. Maybe a good feud." I mean, Will Ospreay is showing up in MLW in November for their next show, and he's someone that has teased going through the Forbidden Door for AEW. Do you think it's possible we can see Will Ospreay showing up? Because he's one of the only New Japan talent that isn't in Japan right now.
Yeah, I don't think you're seeing Will Ospreay on this show. It'd be cool. Like, he's kind of showing up everywhere. And the fact that he's going to show up on MLW shows that there's a possibility of him showing up on non-New Japan shows in America. And we know that Impact and New Japan have a relationship. So like, it's possible. I'm not holding out any type of hope that Will Ospreay pops up on the show. Like, if he's in this Battle Royal thing, like, it feels like he's got to win that. And I don't think they're having Ospreay win this thing. So I don't think you're seeing Will Ospreay. Yeah, there you go. Volleyball says Ospreay's on the cruise. So there you go.
Oh, there you go.
So
yeah, that makes it. Thank you for that, Volleyball. He also thinks that we might get Vikingo on the show, which would be he's a great star, one of the best high flyers in the world. I just don't think that's a lot of buzz for Impact though.
No, I do think you will get some of the lucha talent though, because remember in that preview promo that they ran at Slammiversary, they had like the AAA logo and the CMLL logo. Like, they had the logo from all the different, and they had New Japan logo and stuff too. So I do think, maybe FinJuice is the technically the New Japan and Hikuleo are the New Japan representatives for then. Obviously the AEW representative is Christian, but we don't have any type of the lucha representatives there. So Vikingo is a good call. I could definitely see somebody from AAA and CMLL showing up, because they kind of they at least tease the AAA stuff. I don't remember if the CMLL logo was part of that video package, but they definitely teased some other promotions that don't have representation on this show as of yet.
Yeah, I know Laredo Kid has been doing a couple of events.
There you go.
Did the taping for Impact Wrestling. So he probably was going to be in the next match we're going to talk about. That's going to be on the main show. It's the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. 20 competitors in the matchup. Already announced: Rich Swann, Brian Myers, Moose, Eddie Edwards, Chris Sabin, who's going to be number 1, and W. Morrissey, who's going to be the number 20 entrant into the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. The Call Your Shot Gauntlet is the reason why Violent by Design was able to win the Impact Tag Team titles earlier this year, when Rhino cashed in his Call Your Shot Gauntlet trophy. Eddie Edwards cashed in his Call Your Shot trophy to get his shot at the Impact Wrestling World Championship, which he won last year at Slammiversary. So there is precedent for this to work out for the winner. So who do you think wins the Call Your Shot trophy this year, Jeremy?
Because we don't know a lot of entrants right now, it feels tough to narrow this thing down. They're pushing W. Morrissey, and I know he says he doesn't have a contract pretty much past October. So if he wins, that pretty much says hey, either they've come to some type of agreement or they have faith that he's not going to screw them over. Moose is a guy that I feel like everybody thinks is kind of next for that title and probably should have had it a while ago and just didn't.
Yes.
Like those two seem to be the favorites, but because there's like 15, 16 slots open, they could put anybody. They could have some surprise in here just to, you can get the title shot at any time. And it doesn't have to be a world title shot because I think the plan last year was Heath and Rhino, and they were going to go after the tag titles. So it doesn't have to be a world title shot or anything. I'm going to go with Moose. But yeah, because there's just so many open spots to where they could bring in like a New Japan guy and have him win and do a one-off with whoever the champion is and the winner of this. I'm just throwing a name out there. Let's throw Jay White out there. They could have him come in, win this thing, do like, hey, let's do Jay White and Josh Alexander on a random episode of Impact or the next Impact Plus special or whatever, since they tape all of this stuff. Suzuki, I think Suzuki probably won't be on this show. He's wrestling Nick Gage on that night, but he will be at the tapings. But just to use those two as an example, like that's something that could happen to where like you don't know who's going to show up in this thing. They could bring somebody completely random in to, pop an Impact Plus special for a one-night main event and then move on. If they're trying to do something more substantial and sustainable, I think Moose or W. Morrissey is probably the two favorites.
I was thinking Minoru Suzuki as well until you just reminded me that, yeah, he's on the GCW show.
That'd be a quick. The GCW show's in LA, so
I mean, not that far from Las Vegas, but
but I think they're running at the same time. That's the thing. Like the GCW show, legitimately, if the GCW show was running at like 8 and Suzuki was, early, even though that's going to be the main event, then he could catch a quick flight or something, maybe make it over by the end of it. But I don't think it's happening that quickly on that. Let's see.
Hey, to be fair, you could start off the show with Suzuki and Nick Gage and end the show with Second Gear Crew versus the Briscoes. Because I feel like that's going to be a title change there.
All right, so War Ready is at 11. Is it so the Call Your Shot Gauntlet's kicking it off? So what if Suzuki is there to maybe you open with this match? Suzuki opens, wins it, then he heads out from Impact. He gets done by about 10:30 Eastern time. I don't know what the flight is, but you get a private jet for this man. He can get to War Ready by 1:00 or so and do the main event against Nick Gage. Exactly. There we go. We just booked it. Suzuki's winning this thing. All right, he's winning it.
Nick Gage's entrance is about an hour long, so he got time. He got time. He can wait till Nick Gage's entrance is over and get in his gear and he's ready to go.
There you go. That's it.
But I'm going to go with someone who has been on Impact Wrestling. And just because, like you said, Christian is the only one announced from AEW, I think we're going to get another AEW guy in Christopher Daniels to win the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, because he's already teased, coming back to Impact Wrestling, that he's coming back for the one thing that eluded him during his time in TNA. He's one of the pioneers of that promotion, but he never won the Impact Wrestling World Championship. So I think that was like the perfect role for him to win the Call Your Shot Gauntlet and to, be a number one contender for whoever wins the main event.
I could see that. I could totally see that.
We got a question here in the chat from Anthony Manzano saying, SP3, how do you think they debut Braun Strowman? Do you think he comes in and helps Eddie and Sammy, or he joins up with Moose and W. Morrissey? I was saying earlier, I think Adam Scherer is going to debut with Wyndham Rotunda and Eric Redbeard as the Cult of Wyndham. That's how I would introduce him. I think that that's too many big guys in one, and you don't want to make any of them to look small with Moose and W. Morrissey. I think they make a good team together because neither one of them look small next to each other. But if you put Adam Scherer in there, both of them are going to look small. And Sammy Callahan is actually hurt. He's out. Yeah. He's not going to be on this show. So
I don't think you're aligning. I don't think you're aligning Braun with anybody unless it is those two guys. Like if he comes in, he's coming in just sort of on his own. He's not. I don't think he's aligning with W. Morrissey, Moose, or Eddie and Sammy or anything. Like if it's Bray and Redbeard, that makes sense. Anybody else, you just bring him in by himself.
Absolutely. We should get to another match on the card. It's going to be the person we mentioned earlier here, Jeremy Heath. He's going to be teaming up with a mystery partner against Violent by Design. Of course, VBD has Freebird rules, so we don't know which two members of VBD is going to be. I don't know if Eric Young is ready to come back yet or not, but this is all due to Rhino's involvement with VBD. Of course, it was VBD that took out Heath last year and injured him after his injury in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet last year at Bound for Glory. Then they inducted Rhino into their group. Rhino is the one that lost the tag team titles at Slammiversary for the team. So he was excommunicated from the group, but they said that they were baptizing him by fire. And then they wanted him to come back, but Heath made his return and has been trying to talk some sense into Rhino. So it seems like Rhino might be his tag team partner, or someone else will come in and be Heath's tag team partner. So who do you think is the partner, and who do you think wins here, Jeremy?
Rhino has to be the partner, right? Like, I don't feel like they're keeping this a big secret. I didn't realize it was even like a mystery partner thing. I thought he was teaming with Rhino. I thought that was the match. So I was like, wait a second, mystery partner. It's got to be Rhino, and then Rhino and Heath probably win and have a nice moment, come back together moment. I hope Eric Young. I know Young said he was like shooting for Bound for Glory, coming off the injury. So I hope it is Eric Young as a 1/3 of Violent by Design in this match, because that would mean he is healthy and he is ready to go. If it's not, then Doring and the other guy's name escapes me. I apologize. Fulton. Diener, sorry.
Yeah.
Then like that's fine, but I hope it's Young, because again that would mean he is healthy. I'm going with Rhino and Heath.
I'm going to agree with you there. Rhino and Heath kind of have to win here, and I would love to see them potentially get into the tag team title scene of where they were supposed to be after Bound for Glory last year. But speaking of tag team titles, let's talk about the Knockouts tag team titles. One of the matches I am very much looking forward to, as it's going to be the debut of the Inspiration, Cassie Lee and Jessica Mickie versus the Decay of Havoc and Rosemary for the Knockouts tag team titles. Decay won the titles back at Slammiversary against Fire and Flava, and then the Inspiration was basically promoted to make their debut at Bound for Glory after Knockouts Knockdown, and this is going to be their first matches since their release from WWE earlier this year. Are you looking forward to their debut, and who do you think wins here, Jeremy?
I'm looking forward to their debut because I like the Iconics, the Inspiration now. I think they're extremely entertaining, whether separate or together, and obviously together they have great chemistry. As far as like the wrestling aspect, especially being off a few months, I'm a little bit worried about that, because neither of them are like known for their in-ring prowess and everything. Yeah. So I'm a little concerned about how this actual match goes. Like, it should be fine. I'm not expecting too much as far for match purposes. I do think it'll be entertaining, though. The Iconics back in front of a crowd, playing off the crowd and everything. The crowd's going to love them. So it'll have entertainment value, even if, like, from a technical standpoint, it's not, like, the greatest match of all time. I think Decay win, though. I don't know why. I just don't know if they're going to, like, bring in the Inspiration and just immediately put the titles on them. But it probably makes more sense to do that, because then they can just, like, brag and be obnoxious heels. I'm kind of torn on this one, because both sides make sense. It makes sense for them to, like, come in, win, be obnoxious heels with the belts, but it also makes sense of, like, hey, you're not just going to come in and win these titles. Let's try to get you there a little bit, depending on if they want to go baby faces or heels. There might be a little bit more to the chase if they're baby faces. So I'm torn. I'm gonna go with Decay, though.
I'm going to go with the Inspiration to win here. This is something that I kind of predicted to happen at Slammiversary, them make their debut at that show, because that show was promoted as when the world is going to change and everything. Yeah. But I like that they saved it for here. And I think that the most impactful thing that they can do is debut and win the Knockouts tag team titles. It's a statement, to be made by Impact Wrestling, putting them back together and having them win the tag team titles that actually seem important in the women's division. And Decay has been good champions, but they have been champions since Slammiversary, so it might be time to kind of switch it up there. So that's why I'm going to go with the Inspiration. And of course, speaking of tag team titles, we should talk about the Impact Tag Team Championships are going to be on the line as Gallows and Anderson, the Good Brothers, will defend against New Japan Pro Wrestling's own FinJuice, David Finlay, and Juice Robinson, as well as the Bullet Club representatives of Hikuleo and the newest member, the Finesse Club himself, Chris Bay. The two challenging teams went into a number one contenders match last night on Impact on Access TV, which had a controversial finish, a double pin as Juice pinned Hikuleo and Chris Bay pinned David Finlay. So Scott D'Amore decided as a triple threat match would be the way to decide here. I got the opportunity to talk to the Good Brothers on for Talk Sport as well as the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, and they are looking forward to this because they had a lot of spicy things to say about the Bullet Club and the fact that the Bullet Club seems to embrace guys that are up north in WWE, while they kind of have a lot of animosity towards the Good Brothers and the members of the Super Elite. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be up on Talk Sport today, as well as the True Hill Heat YouTube channel tomorrow. But well, who do you think wins this triple threat here? And what do you think about Chris Bay in the Bullet Club?
I love Chris Bay. I'd push Chris Bay to the moon in this promotion. When we were talking about guys who like could beat Omega as, you know, an Impact guy to take the title for him, I would have Chris Bay. The top three names were like Alexander, Bay, and Ace Austin to take that belt off of him, because I think all three of those guys are kind of up next for this promotion. So I love Bay. I want to pick the Bullet Club to win this, honestly. Like I do, and maybe they pin one of FinJuice to get the belt, so that way the Good Brothers get a little bit of protection there, because then you can run Good Brothers against Bullet Club as a 2-on-2 match the next special or whatever, and then like at some point you've got to get the Good Brothers against Guerrillas of Destiny showdown, which happened at the New Japan Strong show. And then, we'll see when they get back around to that, because now Tama and Tanga are in Japan. And at some point the Good Brothers will go to Japan. I want to go Bullet Club here. I see the argument for Good Brothers and then Good Brothers taking the titles to Japan and defending them. I know World Tag League is coming up. I feel like they've already announced teams for that, though, so we're not going to see them there. But, at the end of World Tag League, maybe Good Brothers confront the winners there. It could go a lot of different ways. I'm going Bullet Club, though.
Yeah, this is a tough one to predict. The Good Brothers actually lost a multi-team matchup last year at Bound for Glory when the North won the tag team titles for the second time. Which
was surprising because everyone knew Ethan Page was like on the way out.
Exactly. And we should also mention that FinJuice, we got Victor Natch here saying FinJuice wins. FinJuice has had the number of the Good Brothers. They beat them for the Impact Tag Team titles earlier this year, then won the rematch at Rebellion. The Bullet Club, like we said, there's a lot of animosity between those two sides, but I gotta go with Gallows and Anderson, the Good Brothers, to retain, only because they said when they come to New York that I get to be their Brandon Cutler and film their vlog for Talk and Shop. So I can't vote against them. So I'm going with the Good Brothers to retain here.
Very fair.
Well, of course, got to be biased sometimes, like with my Lakers. Also from the Bullet Club, it's going to be El Phantasmo. He's going to be in the X Division triple threat matchup. This is the culmination of the X Division three-way tournament that's been going on. El Phantasmo defeated Willie Mack and Rohit Raju to get his opportunity here. Trey Miguel defeated Alex Zane. I forget who else, but he also Steve Maclin defeated Black Taurus and P.D. Williams to get his opportunity here. Steve Maclin has been on an undefeated streak since coming into Impact Wrestling. Trey Miguel has always been in this X Division title scene, but never able to get the title. And of course, El Phantasmo has had some success in the junior heavyweight division in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So who wins and walks out the X Division champion after Josh Alexander, of course, invoked option C and relinquished the title for this opportunity here?
I feel like it's Trey. Like it just seems like it's his time with this stuff. Josh Alexander endorsed him to get the belts here, and it just feels like it's time. I like Maclin. I don't know. I need to see a little bit more of him as like a singles guy to really be sold on him. But I like the promos and I like character and everything. El Phantasmo, he's a great wrestler. He's going back to New Japan though, so
Yeah.
I don't think he's taking the title with him to do all that. I guess they could tape a bunch of stuff this weekend and he'll be there. But it feels like it's Trey's time. I would be a little bit surprised if like Trey doesn't win this match.
I would too. We got a lot of people kind of echoing what you said. Vala B saying it's Trey's time. Also, Victor Nash saying Trey Miguel wins. I gotta think that they go with the guy who's been there the longest, a guy that decided to stay with Impact Wrestling. We don't know a lot of the reason behind why he didn't go with the rest of the members of the Rascals who are now MSK in WWE. Maybe he knew that they were going to get booed out the building at the CWC, but we don't know that. But I feel like Impact has to go with Trey Miguel here, and I feel like Steve Maclin is a good guy that can chase the title after Trey Miguel wins. And Trey Miguel honestly doesn't need to have a long reign because he's kind of like an underdog babyface type of character. But I do agree with Jeremy here that it's Trey Miguel's time, and I feel he needs to win this opportunity here because he's an exceptional wrestler, Warrior Wrestling champion on the independent scene, one of the top independent promotions in Chicago. And he's a guy that Impact can long-term push. Like you said, you mentioned Chris Bay, Ace Austin. I believe Ace Austin's going to be in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, by the way, and Madman Fulton. But this Trey Miguel is one of those guys that's the building blocks of Impact Wrestling moving forward.
Yeah, 100%. Ace Austin, good shout on being the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. And like I could see him kind of winning that as well now that you mentioned him. But yeah, I think this is Trey's time to win this.
Absolutely. And in probably my most anticipated match on this card for the Impact Knockouts Championship, it is Deonna Purrazzo, Deonna two belts, if you will, the AAA Reina de Reyes champion as well. She's going to be defending the Knockouts Championship against a living legend in women's wrestling, Mickie James. It was back at Slammiversary. Deonna defeated Thunder Rosa to retain the Knockouts Championship, and then Mickie James interrupted her celebration, laid her out with the Mick kick. But then Mickie tried to, invite her into Empower to the NWA to defend the Knockouts Championship. Deonna defeated Melina at that show, and then the following night at 70th anniversary, she attacked Mickie James following her in-ring return. And ever since then, these ladies have been underneath each other's skin. We had the great segment in Mickie James's barn that went down this whole fight. It was very cinematic, but awesome stuff between the two ladies. They've had a no contact clause ever since that whole meeting, that whole fight in the barn, where they've been able to pick your poison matches, with Deonna Purrazzo defeating Masha Slamovich at Knockouts Knockdown, as well as Mickie James defeating Savannah Evans last night on Impact on Access TV. But finally, they get to touch. Everyone is banned from ringside, including Matthew Rainwalt, who has been in the corner of Deonna Purrazzo over the last couple of weeks. But who wins this one? Mickie versus Deonna in one of the best feuds they've put together in Impact Wrestling all year.
This is my most anticipated match right here. Deonna is on just a run right now. She got third in the PWI 150. Yes. Well deserved on that. She's just had great matches with everybody. Mickie, I mean, she's only had the one match against Kylie at NWA. Still looked very good in that match. I'm not like worried about ring rust when it comes to Mickie because she's a vet and she's been around for a while, and I'm sure she's been training and everything. So not worried about that. And even if I was, Deonna's so good that it definitely lessens my worry of like, all right, even if Mickey's like a step behind or whatever, Deonna's going to cover up for all of that stuff. I think Deonna wins. I love Mickie. I think it means more if Deonna can kind of notch that legend right there under her belt. Yeah. And I don't know who's beating Deonna for this title. I think the person that beats Deonna for the title like kind of needs somebody you can like really make off of this. And Mickie doesn't need to be made. Like she's good. She's Mickie James. So I'd keep the belt on Deonna until you find that person. And it's like, all right, she's kind of got next in this knockouts division. But yeah, I'm going with Deonna, and I think this will be, if not the best match of the night, it'll certainly be top 2.
I definitely agree with you there. This is like the best build up going into Bound for
Yes.
Glory for sure. Deonna Purrazzo is one of the best female wrestlers in the world, one of the best technical wrestlers, regardless of gender, in the world today. I do agree with you. They should be building up Deonna for the next person in, but I feel like the next person up was supposed to happen last year at Bound for Glory with Kylie Ray, but Kylie Ray, had to leave Impact Wrestling, and they really don't have that person. Maybe a Tasha Steelz. I know that Mercedes Martinez has the number 1 contendership for the winner of this opportunity. Savannah Evans has been looking good since she's been signed by Impact Wrestling. So there's a lot of different ladies that you could see going next, but I just have a feeling they're going to go with the nostalgia pop. They're going to go with Mickie James to get the victory here. Mickie James getting the victory. But I think in the long term, Deonna Purrazzo is probably going to be the one to win it back and get the 3rd time as Impact Knockouts champion. But this is going to be a great match. Everything aside, these 2 ladies are 2 of the best women's wrestlers in the world, and they should deliver on Saturday.
Yeah, 100%. This is my most anticipated match on the card. I think the build to this has been tremendous, and I'm really looking forward to it. I love Deonna, and I mean, Mickie's a legend, so should be a great match.
And then finally, for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship, it's going to be Christian Cage of AEW defending the Impact World Championship against Josh Alexander. Of course, Christian defeated Kenny Omega for the Impact World Championship on the debut edition of AEW Rampage. Josh Alexander was having a masterful run as X Division champion. The Iron Man match against TJP, the triple threat with TJP and Ace Austin, his matchup with Ace Austin, the Ultimate X at Slammiversary, his matches against Black Taurus, Jake Something, last month for Victory Road against Chris Sabin. All matches you should go out of your way. If you're not a fan of Impact Wrestling, these are all matches you should put on your bucket list to watch, because Josh Alexander was killing it as X Division champion. But after the match with Chris Sabin put the bug in his ear. He was like, I've invoked option C in the past. You should as well. So he decided to invoke option C, which means as X Division champion, he can relinquish the title to get a shot at the World Championship, and he versus one of his heroes in wrestling, Christian Cage. Both men from Canada. Both men had career-threatening injuries that would have ended their careers, but have come back and are better than ever right now. And this has been a friendly rivalry of sorts, but over the last couple of weeks, Christian has been getting under the skin of Josh Alexander, bringing out his anger. So now that both men just want to win here and prove themselves as the better wrestler. So who wins and walks out Impact World Champion, Josh Alexander or Christian Cage, Jeremy?
Gotta be Josh Alexander. Just gotta be Josh Alexander. I would be very stunned if he does not win this match. I love Christian. He's not long for Impact or anything like that. You got to make Josh Alexander here. He's been on a great run. It's his time. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this match. Like, has the build been the best thing in the world? Not really. Like, my interest in this match really comes down to I just like both of these guys, and a babyface versus babyface build can be kind of tough as well.
Yeah.
So, Christian could be a very like snarky kind of heel, and he's brought that out a little bit during this feud. But as far as the match goes, like, I'm looking forward to this match just because I expect them to have a great match, because Josh Alexander rules. Christian Cage, one of the best of all time at putting together a match and laying it out and having it all make sense. So I think, and I mean, Christian showed during his AEW run, like, he can still go. Like, layout aside, like, the man can still move very well in the ring. So I think it'll be a great match. I would be stunned if Josh Alexander doesn't win. And then Big Braun the lights are gonna go down. Maybe it's your thing. I do think we're gonna get a lights go down segment, because they love those in wrestling.
They do.
And then Braun is there, or maybe the whole Wyndham family is there. But we're getting a lights down segment after Josh Alexander's victory.
I would love that. I think that's the we're on the same page as far as this match. I see everybody in the chat kind of echoing what we're saying. There is really no doubt that I feel like it's Josh Alexander's
Yeah.
time. He should have been the one to defeat Kenny Omega for the Impact World Championship, but beating Christian Cage, who, like we said, is a bona fide legend in the sport, one of the greats as far as like match layout and in ring work, one of the great hands in wrestling history. This is going to be a very great matchup. And like I said, Josh Alexander has been the Impact Wrestling Wrestler of the Year so far. So this is his coronation of sorts. So I think it is definite Josh Alexander is going to win. And then after, Cult of Wyndham lays him out. That would be epic. That's the type of ending that makes people be like, oh, I got to watch Impact moving forward. So I think that's what they should do. But like I said, in the live chat, a bunch of you chanting for it. Kevin Kellum of Sportskeeda Wrestling saying rooting for Josh Alexander. Vala B says Josh Alexander. Anthony Manzano says Josh Alexander. Vala B shutting out one of my favorite wrestler in the world. He says SP3 Hook wins the Call Your Shot Rumble. Man, you don't want Hook to come in. Hook's gonna win everything. If Hook has to call your shot, he's winning all the gold. X Division, digital media. He's gonna be knockout champion. You don't want Hook to come in here. Chill. You got to relax a little bit. And then Victor Nash saying Josh Alexander wins, especially after that interview with him last night. Yeah, they did a great video package kind of outlining his journey to Bound for Glory. But that is all for the Bound for Glory card. I want to thank Jeremy Lambert for joining me. Like I said at the beginning of the show, this is not me trying to boost up his ego in any way. He is a dear friend to me and one of my favorite people to talk anything really, wrestling, sports, film, movies, TV, it doesn't matter. But Jeremy, let the people know where they can find you on social media, sir.
You can find me in the gym every day getting them shots up. There you go, right there. Yeah. There. At Jeremy Lambert 88. I don't like this big screen thing. What is this?
Putting the spotlight on you, man.
No, I don't like that. I don't need the spotlight on me. Yeah, you can find me there. The Distraction Thursdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, except when WWE runs their shows elsewhere and bumps us. YouTube.com/Fightful Distraction. We're doing shows all the time over there, gaming streams. Like we mentioned, SP3 and I, along with Phil Lindsay, did basketball podcast on Wednesday. That is up on youtube.com/Fightful Distraction. Go over there, subscribe, leave us some thumbs up on some videos. A lot of good content over there, I think. Twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming, where we do a bunch of gaming stuff. I'm everywhere, man. I'm everywhere. I'm just trying to stay busy. And thank you for the kind words. You are a dear friend to me as well. Someone who I know where I'm like, I want to talk about this, and I know I can just message you and be like, hey, let's do a podcast about this. And you're like, all right, I'm in. So I always appreciate you, buddy.
Absolutely. Always a great time with Jeremy. His second time on one of these pay-per-view previews. If you haven't already, go check out the classic with me, Jeremy, and Dutch talking about WrestleMania earlier this year. That was great as well. So this won't be the last time you see Jeremy joining me. But thank you, everyone in the live chat. If you enjoyed it, remember to drop a thumbs up on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel if you haven't already. You got Top Story later on today, as well as Smack Talk with myself, Rick Ucchino, and Dutch Mantell reviewing SmackDown and AEW Rampage later today. And of course, go out of your way, Fight TV, pay-per-view, wherever you want to watch it. Impact Wrestling, Bound for Glory, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fight TV. So go out of your way to order this show. It's going to deliver, and hopefully our surprises, one of them at least happens, because that's the buzz Impact Wrestling needs. So go check it out. Follow Jeremy. Follow myself, True Heel SP3. I'll be on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel in about an hour to review Dark Side of the Ring XPW episode. So check that out as well. For Jeremy, it is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3. This has been our Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory predictions. We are signing off until